All right, Jason Rona back here at the Summer Indoor Nationals, Hobby Action Raceway. We're here with Spencer Rivkin. He's actually a local here in Arizona. You're about 40 minutes away from here where you live, but this is one of your local tracks. Spencer, talk to us about your experience here at Hobby Action so far, and having this as a local track, and just being able to get in the groove here each time, and really battle it out with the guys that come in here. A lot of competition.
Yeah, like you said, this is one of the tracks that I race at all the time. This is my local track, and I'm very, very happy that it is, because it's definitely one of the best facilities in the world. I'm definitely blessed to have this as my local track, and it's awesome that we get to have all these big events here. The JConcepts Indoor Nationals race, the Desert Classic. Like you said, we've had some major events here. We've done pretty well here with the guys, and having the big competition guys come out and show us what they got, and it's awesome fighting.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't, there's two locations to Hobby Action, and I don't know, tell us about that a little bit, as your experience with, being in this area and visiting both shops from time to time.
Yeah, there is two hobby shops that are named Hobby Action. This one's named Hobby Action Raceway, and the other one's just named Hobby Action. And the one that's over on Guadalupe they have some RC car stuff, but they mainly do like the quadcopters, planes, and stuff like that, boats. So the guys that are into that kind of hobby can go over there, and the guys that are in the RC stuff come over here.
Well, this year we've spent a lot of time. This is our third stop on the tour. You've been with us in Missouri. You didn't make the Tacoma trip, but you have a good opportunity here this weekend. You've qualified well, but take us into your vehicles so far this year. It's been you debuted the B6.1 earlier in the year with us, and then we've been doing the T6.1. We have an exhibition class this weekend with modified stadium truck. Tell us about your year so far with the new associated stuff, and kind of how it's treating you throughout the year.
Yeah, like you said, it's always cool that we have been debuting all these new cars that we have. The guys back at the shop, constant grind, giving us the awesome product to go represent. And I'm loving the new platforms, the .1 platforms, the stadium truck. This is my first time running it in modified. I feel like I've been running it in the stock classes the last couple of races at the JConcepts Stock Nationals, and even the JConcept Carpet Nationals and the 13.5 class. But like you said, the new platforms are awesome. All the adjustable options that we have on those vehicles have completely changed our mindset when we come to these races, of what we can actually do to the race cars and improve them when the traction comes up, and it definitely optimizes everything to go to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about with Brent a little bit at the last race, but and Dustin Evans too, was the new trucks. You guys almost kind of skipped a generation in a way. You went from T5M to T6.1, but it's really a big upgrade going to the 6.1, and like you said, the adjustability, and just now having that similar platform from buggy to truck, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they did kind of skip a generation. Due to just because maybe it wasn't as popular at the time, and they've been working on a couple other things in Area 51. So yeah, I mean, the stadium truck and the short course have definitely been right up there at the top. I mean, those things can drive, like, I feel like the stadium truck drives like my two-wheel drive at some times. So yeah, people that have driven the regular stadium truck, the T5M with the laydown, that's the people have been making the laydowns for that truck, and this truck is just a whole nother level of an animal. So I definitely think that if you are into stadium truck, that would be definitely the rig to get.
So from your experience, I mean, some of our biggest classes here this weekend, if not the biggest class, is 13.5 four-wheel drive. I don't think that you've actually ever run a lot of like stock four-wheel, and you race mostly a modified racer. But in 13.5, what do you think the attraction is to run in 13.5 four-wheel, and why is it such a big class at these events?
I kind of think that the people that run the 13.5 stadium truck class, or the 13.5 four-wheel drive class, it almost feels like it's kind of like running mod, because it is four-wheel drive. So it's like just enough power for the people that are kind of in the hobby, that working their way up, or even have a little bit of experience, it feels like you're actually driving a modified car because, it is four-wheel drive. You can punch it everywhere. It doesn't get loose. And it's probably one of the easier classes to get around the track with. So I would probably assume that would be the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, we've been surprised. We added that a couple years ago, and it's really grown into being that other class for a lot of people. And like you said, I think people enjoy that little bit more power. They enjoy that four-wheel drive, and the cars are just so much more durable now and different, right?
Yeah, they're definitely more redefined as like the next generation of like. It's like touring cars. Like those things are like feel like they're just on-road cars out there on the track. Especially when you're doing these jumps, they just land it, plush, and go. So I think that's one of the reasons why that these guys like running that class.
So kind of a thing I wanted to bring up was, I don't know if you've seen bumping around on the internet, but there's a four-wheel drive stadium truck out there that it's been shown as a techno. It looks to be releasing a four-wheel drive stadium truck based off of their four-wheel drive buggy. I don't know that you've seen this or bumped into it or anything, but what did you think, just kind of off the top of your head, about that type of vehicle? And we see with the popularity of four-wheel drive and 13.5 four-wheel. What do you think about the possibility of this four-wheel drive truck class maybe coming around?
So you're saying it's not a four-wheel drive short course. It just has a stadium truck body.
It looks like a mini truggy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I don't see why it would be any different than a four-wheel drive short course class, other than maybe the body. But I don't know, some of these events that I feel like that there's not even enough people to even do that. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like a great idea.
Okay, so you're not interested
No.
in a four-wheel drive stadium
We
truck?
already raced 9 cars.
Okay, so let's rewind back to the race here this weekend. How are you doing in the classes that we're racing, and what do you see things shaking out here in the mains?
Yeah, I actually been slowly working my pace up, run by run. In the two-wheel drive modified class, I'm going to start 5th. The four-wheel drive modified class, I'm going to start 2nd. And the stadium truck class, they're doing a little different format. I'm sitting 3rd right now, so I mean, it's kind of like the Riddy race format. So it's kind of been up and down with how the races go. So looking forward to definitely the mains today. I think the last 2 runs yesterday, the last qualifier. Or the last round yesterday of the qualifying, I definitely improved a lot. I've definitely some confidence boost at the end of yesterday, and I'm looking forward for the mains.
Explain to people that maybe don't do a lot of this or experience this, but the difference between running 4 rounds of qualifying and 3 rounds of qualifying, because that's a big difference for you guys for the points, because we run these races based off of the points of the qualifying, and when you only have 3 rounds and you have that bad first run, you're a little bit in trouble, right?
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of in my boat yesterday. I kind of was like, wow, like I just pretty much threw away a good opportunity run for, I only have 2 rounds left, and it definitely increases the pressure on anybody that's in those situations, and you kind of have to drive in like the safe mode or just do the best you can, even though you want to start in the top 3. Like for instance, yesterday in the last qualifier, I was on a really good run. I was behind JP Richards, and I kind of got a little funny going up the triple, and I was like, all right, if I triple this, I'm going to crash and hit the wall. So I decided just to double single and, lose a couple tenths here and there on that jump, and I still got a 2 for that round doing that. So there's definitely some things you have to look at when you're doing if you have a bad run, and you just got to all right, say to yourself that you're just going to do the best you can. Don't make any mistakes. Go drive around, and if it's not your time, then it's not your time.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that yesterday too. With you had to check up a couple times, and JP was putting in a good run.
Yeah, for sure.
He was putting in a great run. You'd caught up to him, and that puts the driver in a bind. You've been there on the opposite side of it, and because he's thinking, all right, well, if I let this guy go, very easily, and I lose time. And on a track like this, you get outside, who knows, you could spin out in the dust, you lose 5 seconds instead of just a couple tenths. And I'm sure he's thinking that, you're thinking, I want to get around this guy, I want to push the pace out a little more, and kind of take people through what it's like being in that type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically a racer's awareness. I mean, that's something that a lot of these drivers, a lot of us do on the racetrack that we have to think about. I mean, you guys think that we're just out there going as fast as we can, but we're thinking about things that you would never possibly think about on the driver's stand, like where we're at on the driver's stand, or where the other cars are at on the racetrack, how far that the next guy is behind you, is away from you. Do I need to push it in front of this next guy that's on the clock, but he's behind me on the clock? For instance, like my situation was yesterday, like JP was in front of me on the racetrack, but I was ahead of him on the clock, and I was like, well, we're going at a really good pace. Let's just, go through and finish this race out. And, he was nice enough to let me go coming on the straightaway. He probably didn't lose maybe a couple tenths, which is a great spot for letting someone go. And he was able to follow me and latch on, and he was able to probably pick up some speed at the end following me, and it was like a win-win for both. I mean, I know it's really difficult for you to let someone go on the qualifier, but sometimes you got to be the bigger man, and sometimes it works out for you. So, one of the qualifiers, I was running with Tommy Hines, and I felt like I was back running with him, on a club race, and that was a really cool thing. And he was much faster than me in the qualifier, and I was like, all right, I'll let you go and I'll follow you. And he ended up having some bad luck with some traffic, so. It was definitely something that a lot of us drivers we call it racer awareness, and we definitely practice on that every race we go, and I think it's important for people to learn off that and improve on that every time they get on the track.
All right, Spencer. Well, good luck this weekend. I know you guys have big dreams here, and you've already shown that they do come true. And so we're having a great time here at Hobby Action as always. The weather's perfect inside the building here and inside the hobby shop, and the racing's going to heat up later. You guys have a little bit of a time off to prep as we get ready for the triple mains later in the day, and then things are going to happen fast. And we'll bring in that action live, of course, with Thomas behind the camera talking about some live racing action. And, of course, we'll get some photos and see how well you do out there.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll see you next time.